I think we're live.
Oh.
What's going on, guys? We are live. Welcome to Beastly Thoughts episode. What was it again? 146.
146.
146.
Jesus.
Yo, I got a lot of shit going on. There's a lot of moving parts over here, Robbie.
Okay, Briar. I'm sorry.
Dude, we got a lot to talk about today. And I'm going to be honest. I think a lot of it is going to be a continuation of a lot of conversations we had last week. Because even though we did a 2-hour podcast last week, I feel like we got unfinished business.
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah.
A lot of things going on.
A lot of things going on. Beastly, what the fuck you been up to, man? Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm scared.
Come on, 2 beers.
Cheers to you, my friend.
All this aggression. I feel like I shouldn't get older. Yeah, guys, today's my birthday. I turned 21 today. Really enjoying this youth, and
I'm incredibly handsome for 21. I have to say.
I'm in the spring of youth right now. I'm enjoying my day. Just when I got a new phone, been hanging with my family, had a great party last night, cooked out, got a little tipsy with my dad, played some tetherball with my dad, made my dad fall down the hill of my backyard. I felt horrible about it until he told me not to help him up. Then I felt okay. But it was a great day. Had lots of family over. And here I am today winding down with you guys on the Beastly Thought Show. And just in case you don't notice, I play tetherball. It's a serious game.
Tetherball, man.
It's a real sport. You know,
as far as I know.
I mean, it's not all 8-year-old girls. Some 21-year-old fathers of 5 get out there and aggressively play tetherball. And I don't care if I'm playing against a person that's 4'5". I'm going all in on your ass.
I'm just trying to do the math here. Now, I've seen your oldest, also named Brett.
Yes.
When did you have your first kid? When you were like 6 years old?
If you're 21, yeah, you're a year older than me.
Listen, man.
How does that work?
Listen, in the hood, things happen. When you go down to the candy lady's house, sometimes you get more than candy.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay?
Well, happy birthday, man. I hope you have an awesome birthday and get everything you wish for.
This is the greatest birthday gift I could have. Thank you, guys.
Oh.
What have you been playing all week, man?
All week long, I played nothing but, and I know that it's going to be blasphemy for people out there like me who own the Nintendo Switch. I have been playing Horizon Zero Dawn all week. I haven't had an opportunity to stop playing that game. I'm close to 40 hours in. I think it's highly addicting. I can't stop running errands. I can't stop doing side quests. I want to explore new caverns and territories, find new enemies, and I think it's like one of the greatest games I've ever played when it comes to just making montages and doing things in different ways. It's such a fun game. It's really special to me. And that's all, like I got my studio set up in a particular way now.
Yeah.
Where my TV is right next to my wife's TV. And it's like a silent bonding thing. It's every man's dream. You're actually spending time with your significant other. She's next to you. There's no conversation. But it still counts as spending time together because she's playing Horizon on her 50-inch 4K, and I'm playing Horizon on my 60-inch 4K with HDR. The game's amazing, and I know. I heard it from you, Briar, pre-show. I heard it from my brother, Joe, who came out and hung out with me yesterday, that this game is one of the greatest games of all time.
Before we move on to Zelda, because, Robbie, you've been playing Zelda too, right?
Yes, I have.
All right,
on the
Wii
U.
Zelda. Yeah, which I'm actually really interested to hear about. Mm-hmm. But Horizon, any conversation we have after this point, I want to point out and I want to state my position that I think it's a fantastic game, and I really enjoyed my time with it. But there are some issues with that game that I feel like a lot of people just kind of are looking past, right? I feel like it starts off like really strong, but then it's got a very long, slow period between like the introduction and here's what we're going for. Here's what we're fighting for, right? And the story kind of like getting back in gear. And once the story gets back in gear, there's probably I'd say 8 hours. Maybe it's a little less of that. But it's just like, go, 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 man. You're so compelled to find out what the next revelation is because it's so interesting. What they've done with that world and that story, I find extremely interesting.
Oh, God, it is.
But the side quests and even part of the main story, it feels like a side quest where it's very much about political intrigue and that kind of stuff. I had zero interest in. Like, I just wanted to get it done with so I could move on
Really?
with the real story. Like, I'm talking to people doing side quests because I felt the need to level up. And I couldn't care less what they were saying. It's like, I had no emotional attachment to the characters of this world. I was very emotionally attached to the main story.
Oh.
Like basically, I don't want to spoil anything because it's too cool to spoil.
It's really good, yeah.
But like basically, like I had a very emotional reaction to the main storyline of this game. I thought it was really fantastic. It was really well written. It wraps up, which is nice. You know, it's nice to actually get an ending and not like a preview for a sequel.
Some cliffhanger. Yeah, they do that.
Yeah, but like throughout my time with Horizon, I very much felt like I don't want to experience any of this other shit. I just want to mainline this story because that's the only thing that's interesting to me. Even the combat, initially I loved the combat, but once I kind of figured out that all you had to really do is kind of whistle people over and then stab them to kill them with one shot, is like the combat got kind of old, you know? Like it felt very one note. It's like once you kind of figure out the system, then it just kind of, it feels very repetitive until you get to some of the bigger boss fights, and the bigger boss fights can be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Now, let me say, there's a lot of that I agree with, and I have a different perspective on it personally. I've been through the lull. I know what you mean. The game starts off, the story is very contained, and it seems exciting, and then all of a sudden you go out into this world, you're hit with this expansive, beautiful world, and you're roaming around doing things. It takes a while for the story to actually pick up. Takes a while for you to really find your note and find exactly what the objective is in the game because it's so much to do. And I'm past that point now where the story is actually starting to really pick up what you're talking about. It's really starting to hit boom, boom, boom. But for me, going out into the world and fighting these enemies and finding these resources and crafting and making things and is so fun to me. I don't feel nearly as bad about maybe the side quests as you do. I think some of these characters could have been better written. I think that some of these stories could have been fleshed out a little bit more. But again, they are side quests. They're very similar to The Witcher. You go talk to someone, you follow tracks, pretty much the exact same deal.
They're similar to The Witcher, except they're not as engaging as The Witcher.
I've found some that are. Now, you ran through the game, you kind of stayed to the main story because the side quests that you found didn't really grab you. Yeah. I've been doing all errands, all side quests.
Can you give me an example of like a really good one?
Off the top of my head now, it's like really hard for me to think about. I know yesterday I played through at least 2 that kind of blew me away, and it's just been so much going on. I really have to think about it. I'll try to remember by the end of the show. But the world, to me, the mechanics of the world, the way that you actually traverse this world, the way that you're able to call upon creatures, turn them against one another, make them fight for you. The whole mechanic of the way you take down enemies, to me, is so fun that just running out to do these side quests, it makes it worth its while. It's like the recipe to actually get to where you're going, to me, is worth it. Even though the side quests might not be full, you might not have that sense of extreme satisfaction from the story, but the things that you had to do to get there, it's kind of like building your own story. It's kind of like the way that you described Destiny years ago, is that you play it with your friends and you kind of build your own experience, and it's unique to you. For me, I don't think anybody's going to play this game the same way. You can walk around this world and whisper or whistle and make enemies come to you and one shot them. You can do that. You know, there's people who can spam particular spots in Destiny or any other game to make it appear cheesy. But there are also ways you can make it extremely exciting. You can go balls out, running into a crowd of aggravated enemies and do some incredibly awesome stuff. And I've done that.
Crazy cool shots, yeah.
I mean, I fought a boss yesterday, a giant boss. I can't remember the name of this thing, but it was huge, right?
Was that Thunderjaw?
Was it? It's
Did
super
it look like a T-Rex kind of thing?
Yes, and it had like the giant tanks on its back. I fought this guy. It took a long time to take him down, but toward the end of the battle, 4 other enemies came running in, and I was like, "What's going on?" I see these red dots around me, and I had to like. But the thing is, right? I'm fighting the Thunderjaw, and I got these other aggravated enemies running towards me. I knocked one down. I grappled one, made him stick to a spot, knocked him over, turned him. He started fighting, the giant Thunderjaw with me. And it just made the experience so amazing. I was like, this has got to be one of the most magical moments
There are some
in a game like this.
crazy
And
moments in that game.
I had, like almost every boss fight down to a T too, was that I found that I was like, am I going to be the one who dies or is he going to be the one that dies? Because it was almost like a simultaneous health bar drain on both our parts. Like
Yeah.
down to the last boss, it was like down to the second whether it was going to be me or him. Like, I mean, every boss fight was like that. That was really compelling to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking of one that I did this morning. It was a bandit camp. I talked to a guy outside of a bandit camp who was a hunter, very similar to me. And he was crouched down hiding. He said, stay low. He started to explain to me what he does. He doesn't go after robots and kill them.
Yeah,
he likes to go and take out these bandits and why he does it. And his friend got killed by the bandits. And now he has this goal in his mind to kill as many as possible. He wanted to know if you help him. I went and took out this bandit camp with this guy. And we had this long drawn out conversation afterwards as to what his real intentions were. And they gave the guy a lot of weight and it made it feel real. Of course, he lost his best friend who's overconfident and went and got murked by some bandits. And I felt like that was meaningful. And it wasn't that one in particular wasn't as great as some of the ones I've seen in The Witcher, which I haven't played through, but it did give it a little bit more meaning. It's better than just running in and just killing bandits, taking over a camp. There was a real reason behind it. And so far I found lots of those little instances in this game that really have made it a special experience for me. And you guys know it's really hard for me personally to stick with a game because I have so many games. And I've been trying. I stopped playing Rise of the Tomb Raider. I stopped playing Resident Evil 7. This game, since the day it came out, it's the only thing I've been playing. And I can't wait to finish it, but I feel like after I finish it, I still want to run around this world and try to fight these enemies. And I don't care if it's part of my quest or not. I run into an enemy I haven't seen before. I can go to a village and make it a quest, or I can just try to be a badass and see if I can figure out how to take him out right now. And it's just so many different aspects of this game to me that are super exciting. Everybody's not going to feel the same about it. I could hide into a bush, like you said, Briar, and wait, or throw a rock and go and turn an enemy or stab someone. But I guess it's for a particular type of gamer. For me, I like it to be exciting. I like that feeling of having enemies chasing me and trying to escape, trying to get into a better position, and then just coming out and destroying them. And it's been really, really fun for me. And I think that a lot of people feel the same way about this game.
I can't lie that my feelings about this game were way higher until I started playing Zelda.
I know. Everybody's saying the same thing, bro.
I was playing Horizon. I was really happy about it. I was blown away. And then last week on Friday, I started playing Zelda on stream. And my motivation to play Horizon was so fucking low because of what I saw in my small taste test of Zelda. Horizon does open world games like we've seen, I think, as good or better than just about anybody except for maybe Rockstar. It's beautiful. The world is filled with shit to do. There's a ton of collectibles. Like whatever kind of gamer you are, you're gonna find something to do in Horizon. And then I got a taste of Zelda, and I was like, oh, they just switched the game up. Like Nintendo just like
another level.
Like,
I'm so excited to see this.
We see what you're doing, Skyrim. We see what you're doing. Ubisoft. We see what you're doing.
Rockstar.
And we're just, we're gonna take all that stuff and pick what we like the most, and then we're gonna fucking sprinkle some magic fucking Nintendo dust on it.
They got that magic Nintendo dust, yeah,
and make it fucking wonderful. So. I finished Horizon, and I really did enjoy the storyline. Like, I absolutely enjoyed it. But the entire time I was playing Horizon, I was like, man, I can't wait to get back to Zelda. Like, I can't wait to get back to Zelda. And so, Robbie, you've been playing a lot of Zelda, and you've been playing on the Wii U, and I'd really like to hear your thoughts of your time with Zelda.
For sure. So I'm going to say quickly, I've spent about, I'd say, 10 hours playing the game. I'm not, like, ridiculously far into it.
Yeah.
What I've played, though, so far, I love the game. I really do.
Have you gotten to the first beast?
What's that?
Have you gotten to the first beast?
First beast? What do you mean, first beast?
I don't want to put any more detail on it. I don't want to spoil
I don't think I know what you mean, but okay. I mean, I've gotten past the first initial area where you go down and you take the... I can't I think?
You get the
What is
paraglider?
it called? Paraglider. Thank you. I don't know what's wrong with me today. Yeah, paraglider. You jump off the edge. I haven't gotten much further than that. What I've played though, the game's wonderful. I just really like the combat. I think the world is gorgeous, and for a Wii U game, it really impresses me. I have to tell you guys, for a Wii U game, it's impressive. The game, sometimes it looks kind of rough around the edges, I won't lie. Like you can see, you know, it kind of looks a bit jaggy and it's not the sharpest resolution. There are other times where the lighting is beautiful and the game genuinely looks good. It looks really nice and I really like the way it looks. Unfortunately, there are some frame rate hitches, like you'll just randomly pan the camera, you know, to the right. There's mountains off in the distance. The frame rate will start to hitch. That's not so fun when that happens, but it's like it never affects the game. It is a fantastic game from what I've played. I really just, it's magical. It is. There's something about it that's really wonderful.
That's the thing about this game.
Nintendo magic.
It's got
something.
that Nintendo magic, and not every Nintendo game has it, right? The last couple of Zeldas, in my opinion, didn't have it.
You're right.
Yeah.
Like on the consoles, because actually
3DS does.
Yeah. The
3DS
last one on
magic.
3DS definitely had it. What was that called? It was Link Between
Link
Worlds.
Between Worlds.
Link Between
yeah.
Worlds.
That game was phenomenal. But this game, you walk around, and it's just like everything you see. Graphically, like if you put it on a technical level and stack it up to Horizon, it doesn't stand a chance, right? There's not the level of detail. There's not the resolution. It's in 720 or 900p.
Especially
not 4K.
on Wii U, it's like not even close.
Yeah,
Right? It's like
Wii U.
like technically, it's not even in the same league. But in immersion and in charm and in art style, in my opinion, it blows it away. Like it's there is magic in this game.
It's a wonderful
I think
game.
you nailed it with that word.
Let me just say this, all right? I get very seldom do I get this kind of enthusiasm from you guys about a game, and I know you, Briar. We've been together now for years. It's just very few games. Like when Destiny first came out, you had this same degree of excitement, and I guess it's kind of jarring to hear this consensus amongst everybody I know who's played this game. It makes me want to put Horizon down, but it's like in the back of my mind, I can't do it.
Don't do it. I can honestly say, don't do it. Finish Horizon. Enjoy your time with Horizon.
Take your time. Don't rush.
But definitely, as soon as I get, at least that'll give me a true perspective on it. Because if I love Horizon this much, and I know I'm going to love Zelda, I've always been a huge Zelda fan.
Yeah.
If this is as good as everybody says it is, how is that even possible? I mean,
10s across the board.
And it's not a perfect game. Zelda is not a perfect game. Like, it's got all sorts of problems. Like, the inventory management kind of is a fucking pain in the ass.
That is a pain. Constantly, your inventory's full. Stuff breaks nonstop.
Yeah.
Like, all the
I don't
time.
mind the breaking thing. Once I figured out that if I break something over somebody's head, it does double damage,
It
became a benefit. Like, oh, okay. Now I've got to like strategize when I want to break this weapon. Like I might have 2 or 3 weapons that are about to break, and like
use them all.
Yeah, fuck it. You know, this guy's gonna get a couple of weapons broken over his head.
Over his noggin.
Yeah, and that's cool. But the inventory management part of it is a pain in the ass. You also got like
constantly
you've got
full.
this Nintendo like controller that. Look, I love the controller itself. I use the Pro Controller, and I adore the controller. It feels great. But the buttons are all, like... Why can't we just all, as an industry, come to some kind of, like, consensus...
Standard,
or standard. Like, where, you know, if you're going to have a run and a jump button, like, make the run, and it's a first-person or third-person game, make the run the left stick. Don't make that crouch. Because every other fucking game, it's the left stick. Right? So, like, I'm constantly mixing that up. Or, like, every game should have remappable controls. Like, you know, just every game. Why not? Why don't we have this in this industry? Why can't every fucking game? Because...
Or every console needs to have that, like the PlayStation 4, you can remap the buttons.
I much prefer the game. It's implemented in the game as opposed to the console because...
That's better.
You have to change it for every game.
In the console, then I got to change it for every game.
You're absolutely right.
If it's implemented in the game, then I change it once for the game, and it just stays that way. You know,
You're
it's a part of my
right.
save file. I mean, at least Sony did it, right? Sony made that happen, and I appreciate it. But it's like, it's the weirdest thing is like, on my controller, the default is X, which is at the top of the controller. This button is jump.
Huh?
Yeah.
That's so weird.
It is. Yeah,
It's
it is
not
on
You
Wii
can
U as
switch
well.
it. You can switch it because the default is A. I'm sorry, this is B down here. B is run, and this is jump.
That's so weird.
You don't have, you know how normally you hold run and then you roll
Run
your
and
thumb on the
your
jump,
thumb to
right?
jump, yeah.
You can't do that. You can switch it. So this is jump down here, and this is run, but you're still in the same position where you can't roll your thumb.
Oh,
Maybe if you have really skinny thumbs, you can hold, it goes between.
That's a skinny ass thumb, Briar.
Yeah, but like I would love to come to that place as an industry where you can have remappable buttons on like anything you want. So if I've been playing a lot of Horizon, why can't I just remap the controls so I'm familiar with them,
Yeah.
Instead of having to learn. Also, why do the buttons have to be named different on every controller?
Yeah, B and A and X and Y, they're opposite on the
they're
Nintendo
like the
controllers.
opposite
I
of
can't
the
get over
Xbox.
that.
Now, that's
It weirds me
Xbox's
out.
fault. Nintendo had their shit set up first. So honestly, like Xbox should have just taken that shit over, right?
Right,
It's
but
just
we're so
adopted
used
that.
to it.
Yeah. But it's a pain in the neck, that stuff.
It's weird. I constantly hit, I'm like Y or X to jump or whatever, and then I'm hitting the one on the left. I'm like, isn't that X? I'm like, oh wait, it's up here.
Yeah. Oh, if I had to play like God of War on
Constantly.
this console, I'd be lost. Like, with all those quick time events, I'd be like, what? Every time I gotta look down at the fucking controller to figure out what button I'm hitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, I'm looking forward to you getting your hands on Zelda. I know you have it.
It's a wonderful game.
You have it in your possession. It's just, I would definitely finish Horizon first, though.
Take your time with Zelda. It's a wonderful game. Like, don't rush in to get it. You have a week or two until Mass Effect comes out as well. So
Oh
you'll
God, shut
plenty
up,
of time.
Robbie. There's not enough time for any of this. Okay, first of all, Mass Effect.
I know. It's a lot.
It has to be played. That's just one of my favorite franchises of all time. God damn it, I'm really pissed off thinking about that.
You better finish Horizon
Zelda,
quick.
Zelda I'm taking my time.
I
Horizon
thought you
for
weren't
me.
a Mass Effect fan. Am I crazy? Was I talking to somebody else? I thought you didn't like Mass Effect.
Are you
He said he
insane?
was a Final Fantasy fan too. When
Oh,
we
you
saw that
goddamn
one.
Robbie. Really? You sack of shit.
Oh, that's
Listen.
a callback joke.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good.
See, Briar's saying it's a callback joke.
Callback joke.
So, are you a Mass Effect fan? Like you're a Final Fantasy fan?
I absolutely am. Okay, I listen to Club Afterlife
So-
MP3 in my car every day, on the way to work downtown Atlanta. God damn it, it's one of my favorite games. And
I am
love Mass
honestly
Effect
thinking
3
about-
too, but the ending did suck.
I'm honestly thinking about waiting on Mass Effect because there is this multiplayer component to it. But I'm honestly thinking about waiting because we're going to talk in the news about Destiny a little bit later. There is a lot of Destiny content coming in the very near future, and that comes a week after Mass Effect. And I don't know that I want to like try and crush Mass Effect into 1 week, Whereas maybe if I wait till the summer, like midsummer, I'm gonna have a little more time, and I can really like play through Mass Effect and enjoy it. So I'm honestly thinking about just waiting on it.
There's not much coming out, I don't think. Like there's a break in April, and then
That's what I'm waiting for. I really am. I'm waiting
April's
for
gonna be all about Destiny for me. It's gonna be just raid every day.
I just need a break. It seems like every other week there's an amazing game coming out that we've been waiting for.
And they're all open world games too. They're huge.
Yeah,
it's like,
they're huge
I just
games.
can't play them. It's like right now Horizon, and after Horizon I want to play Zelda. And in the back of my mind, I need to finish Rise of the Tomb Raider. I need to finish Resident Evil 7. I gotta play Mass Effect Andromeda, right? So it's like
so good.
But I'm trying to keep up with the Jones. Who the hell are the Joneses anyway? I never met these fucking people. I'm trying to keep up with them and have everything that comes out. And you can't finish all the games. You can raise your hand and say, I own them. It sucks. I just need a break. Developers, please, just slow down.
Nah, fuck that. Keep it going, man. This is awesome. This
Fuck
is
that. Don't slow
2017 to date. Like, you're sitting here, it's March 12th. I would challenge anybody to find a game, find a year that has been this action-packed
this quick
in March
from the start,
from the get-go. Like, I mean, up to this point, best year of gaming, best year of video games. Like,
we're on track
and I
to
can
be the best year of games in a long time.
The shit is just gonna keep hitting the fan, man. Like, it's like you look at the release schedules and the games that are like rumored to be releasing at the end of the year, and it's gonna be a fucking insane year. It's gonna be one of those years that people will remember for like a long time to come. God damn, remember 2017? There wasn't enough time to play all the fucking awesome games that came out. We got a console launch.
Two
we got
consoles.
2 console launches. We got a new Mass Effect. We got a new Zelda. We got, Horizon Zero Dawn. We got a new Destiny. We got a new Red Dead. We got, all this fucking crazy shit.
Crazy.
Briar is awesome.
It is so nuts, though. No,
this is something else that's coming out. I don't know if this has been on your radar, Briar, as a PSVR owner, but there's a game coming out, I think, in May. It's called Farpoint.
Farpoint, and it's got a gun controller.
Oh, yes. That's gonna be cool.
Yeah. I can't wait for this.
Kate and I watched this, kind of featurette on this thing today. The game looks incredible. It kind of reminds me of like a Halo type of world, but they're comparing it to like Starship Troopers. There's these insects, you're like on Mars or a Mars-like planet. You got this actual gun, and you actually look down sights, very similar to what you've been doing with the HTC Vive.
Yeah.
The game looks incredible. They're saying it's like a 5-hour campaign, which is pretty good for a VR game, but it looks like a real game. Is this something that's on your radar? Because
I've been looking at this game. It's one of those ones where it's like, I just want to hear a review of it before I buy it, because it's $80 to get it with the gun, controller. And I don't know, does a Move controller go into the gun, or is it?
It's built into it.
I think it's separate.
It's a controller,
It's
built into
thing.
it, so you don't.
Yeah, man, it looks cool. Like, the game looks really cool. I don't know if it's locomotion or like warp to move, like teleport to move.
No, you move around. Well, the way the gun is made, there's an analog controller, like a traditional PS4, on the front portion of the gun, where you move around with that, and you can pull the trigger.
It's got real locomotion.
Real locomotion, just like a regular
first-person
shooter. That sounds
awesome. I can't wait. Wait.
When you were, I'm trying to remember the game you were playing on your HTC Vive, which is like this military shooter.
Onward.
When I saw that, I was like, my God, I want something like that on the VR, but I'm not that PC guy. And this is
there going to be a multiplayer in this?
It is multiplayer.
Oh!
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's not competitive, though. It's co-op. It's co-op multiplayer. So you actually play through.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I know. But I mean, it's a good. Shut up, Robbie. It's still a good start.
You could try.
The game looks great, and that's something I think I'm going to end up picking up in May. It's just another little side note of the year. It's a crazy ass year. It really is a crazy year. I can't believe 3 months in, and we've got all these glorious games, and I'm so in love with the game I'm playing now. I know I'm going to be in love with the next game I play, and
I've been hearing great things about on the PSVR too. Is Dirt.
Really?
Yeah, I've been hearing amazing things. Apparently, they patched the game to include PSVR. And it's, it looks phenomenal. It plays phenomenal. It's a much more simmy racing game than, something like Drive Club. So you actually have to spend the time to get good. But, it's rally car racing where you're in a sports car on, off road, right? And you're going as fast as you can. And you're jumping through the air, going over hills, just flying through the air. Apparently, the fucking game is amazing. I just haven't had a chance to pick it up yet.
They patched it, and is it like Drive Club now? Like the way you actually sit in the car and everything?
Yeah, you sit in the car, and you drive like that. It supports steering wheels and pedals, so you can clamp those onto your desk.
What?
And it's like you're really in there, with a racing wheel. Like, that is cool as shit, man.
Yeah.
I can't wait to check that out. I haven't had a chance to buy it yet, but I definitely plan on giving that one a shot. The problem is that I know that if I like it, then I'm going to be going over to Thrustmaster looking for one of those $300 racing wheels. I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah, man. Well, with PlayStation Update 4.50, PlayStation VR got a plethora of updates to its tracking, to the actual monitor. So, if you're playing VR and people are watching on the monitor actually had an update to the resolution and the way the image is actually conveyed. Yeah, it looked like crap before. I haven't really had a chance to. I've been playing Horizon, so if you've seen it, let me know if you noticed a difference. But it's really exciting, the kind of things that they're coming out with that are improving the way we play on PlayStation and across the board in gaming in general.
They also introduced a feature where you can play a 3D Blu-ray in your PlayStation and watch it in your headset, your PlayStation VR, and get the full 3D effect in your PlayStation VR, which I really want to check out. I think that's a cool looking thing.
Yeah, and I think there's also an update to the PlayStation theater, when you're watching films. I don't know if they added a theater now, but that whole experience has been updated as well. Supposedly it's much better.
They improved the resolution, and made it look a lot better because that was a bad experience before. Have you tried that before?
I have. It was yes, it's pretty bad. And I also wanted a nice theater to sit in too. And I'm thinking of buying another PSVR because today my wife was watching that Farpoint and she's like, "Oh, we got to play this together." And I was like, "You don't really like VR in general, but you're going to play this. We'll see." So.
Hey,
on last week's Destiny Community Podcast, Tefty was, I was telling him about playing VR. Like I was actually talking about Star Trek Bridge Crew, and I was saying, yeah, you can have like 6 people in VR playing together.
Oh, man.
And he's like, wait, you have to have 6 VRs? And like it clicked that he was like talking about like in the same room. I'm like, there's online play here. But then it suddenly created this idea of imagine having 6 people in the same room all playing VR, like just running into each other and shit. Like, it just sounded like a fucking brilliant fucking YouTube video.
Somebody make that game now.
I want to try to get 5
like
people together with VR headsets all in the same room so we can just
that's going to be horrible.
Look at each other in the head constantly.
Who was that? Horrible.
That PSVR, the 4.5 update was pretty huge for PlayStation. Not just PlayStation VR, but PlayStation Pro users got the boost mode. Like all sorts of fucking updates in that thing. It's
external
really
hard drive support.
External hard drive support.
8 terabytes.
Yeah.
For up to 8 terabytes, it's insane.
But I have heard some complaints, and I haven't heard these things acknowledged by Sony, but apparently some people who have gotten update 4.5 have been complaining about higher latency in multiplayer games.
Ooh, that's horrible.
Not good.
Yeah. So hopefully, I don't know if this is real or if this is perceived. I only read about it on Reddit, but I read a few posts about it, like a bunch of people complaining about it. So more than one person is kind of like pointed this out. So if it is a thing that's happened, hopefully Sony jumps right on that and gets that fixed.
Yeah. DJ Man in chat says, FIFA VR anyone? Fuck no.
No, thank you.
Hell no.
No, that's the game. You guys got to get 6 people together to play FIFA VR in the same room.
With 6 people? Yeah, maybe.
Oh, kicking each other. Look at just nut shot after nut shot.
I'm thinking maybe Brookhaven. Brookhaven would be a great game to get 6 people together to play in one room. Everybody's heads would get knocked off. People swinging around, punching each other in the face.
Oh, yeah, sure.
It'd be horrible. All right, so it sounds like this week, the last week, we've had nothing but Horizon Zero Dawn and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. You guys let us know in the comments what you've been playing for the last week, and we'll get started with our news for episode 146 of the Beastly Thought Show. Robbie, would you like to get us started?
For sure. Let's do it, guys. All right. Mass Effect Andromeda is getting an early access trial through EA Access starting on March 16th. Players will be able to play for 10 hours or up until a certain part of the game's main story.
I have some questions here. Maybe you know the answers to them, because this is actually the first time I'm hearing this news. Mm-hmm. One is, will your progress in the early access get transferred over to the full game when that comes out?
Yes.
Like if you play 10 hours, when you buy the full game, it just starts there?
Yeah.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah.
You
have to pre-order to get early access?
No, it's just through EA Access.
EA Access is EA's premium service.
Okay. Okay, so you got to pay for that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's only like $10 a month, right?
It's like $35 a year, I think. It's pretty cheap.
It's a good value, and EA Access actually looks like a good service. I would absolutely buy it if it wasn't so many sports games. Like, that just seems like a waste to me. I'm like, I just don't care.
Maybe worth it just for the month, though, right? Like, do you have to pay
it's fairly inexpensive, Briar. I think EA Access is like $35 a year. So it's really inexpensive.
Not much. It's not too bad.
Like if you're really into Mass Effect and you want to start a little bit early, fuck, I wonder if I could stream that.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
10 hours, you can break out your Xbox One and dust it off, Briar. Get some Mass Effect.
Yeah, it has to be Xbox One though.
It's Xbox One only.
Yeah, well, EA Access is only on the Xbox. Yeah.
Yeah.
EA said, no, PlayStation, we don't care about 60 million consoles.
I really want to play that game on PC.
Look at you, Briar. What has happened to our friend Briar?
Look at you.
He's grown up.
I used to know you.
He's growing up.
You're grown up. Yeah, you grew up. You advanced the PC Master Race. That's right.
He sure is. Doesn't he look foreboding in that black backdrop? He just looks like a PC gamer.
He's so handsome though and grown up. Good for you, Briar.
Thank you, Robbie. I love you too, buddy.
Oh,
All right, so Outlast 2 will be released April 25th for PS4, Xbox One, and PC for $30. The same day, a bundle with both Outlast 1 and 2 with all DLC will be available for $40.
hell yes! I loved the first Outlast. Cannot wait for this game. It was so good.
Scary
as shit.
So bad. It was scary as shit.
Brian, you're
So
good
bad
at
and it was scary. Yeah. Okay.
I watched you play Resident Evil 7. You're the best for horror games. Sorry.
Look, with Resident Evil 7, it was a different scenario where I was really enveloped in like, wow, this technology is amazing. Like I'd never played like a full game in VR. Plus I was streaming it. I streamed every moment of that game. And at every point I had the chat. It was like having somebody with their shoulder, with their arm on my shoulder, you know, like the whole time the chat was there with me. Like I got freaked out a couple of times and I could always just lift that helmet up.
We were there to hold your hand.
Yeah, it was like having somebody there to hold. It was like having an adult there to hold my hand. I'm like,
or many adults, just like having a classroom of children surrounding you.
Outlast, I tried in a dark room by myself. I think I played 45 minutes of that game, and I left the room. I went downstairs. My wife is sitting on the couch, and I'm like, my heart is like.
It's an intense game. Yeah, it's so intense.
I'm like, you cannot believe the shit I just saw. Fuck
I'm trying to imagine it because everybody watching the show. Briar is a very manly looking man. He's a manly man. He's a modern day Clint Eastwood, and you can just imagine Briar in the movie theater with his wife, and they happen to go into the wrong film, and then something scary happens. And she reaches over and covers his eyes and says, "It's going to be okay, honey. It's going to be all right."
She reaches over to grab my hand. She doesn't realize that I've already grabbed like some neighbor's hand. I'm like, this dude next to me is like, dude.
Whoa, who the hell are you?
Now, Brian, that sounds like it may have actually happened. That came a little too quick.
He's like, we're in this together.
Unconfirmed.
You held hands with another man. Confirm. Yes.
Oh man,
I used to be on a movie podcast, and the guy who ran the podcast loved fucking horror movies.
Horror movies, yeah.
So he'd send me to see these horror movies in the theater, and my time to watch horror movies was like a Tuesday during the matinee. Right, that was like a perfect time for me.
Nobody there.
Nobody. The fucking movie theater is completely empty. I'm the only person in that movie theater watching a fucking scary movie.
You have no one there to
I had to go to the back of the theater because I couldn't stand having all that open space behind me because it freaked me out. I was constantly like, and then like half the time I'm staring at my phone because like that creepy music starts coming and you're just waiting for that jump scare. I'm like, fuck it. I'm not participating in this bullshit.
They're playing Angry Birds.
Yeah. I hate scary movies.
Remind me to take you to the movies, Brian.
We all have to go see a scary movie together.
I promise you that's going to be great.
We all got to do it.
All right, so Nintendo has confirmed that micro SD cards can't be used on multiple Switch consoles.
Yep, you just get an error code.
Because I guess once you insert it into your Switch console, it's going to be tethered to that account, and you can't take the games out and put it into another Switch console.
So if you have a save on your micro SD card.
Saves are stuck on one console too. Yeah, that's the other thing.
Oh, that's bullshit.
I don't see why. I don't see why it is though. Honestly, I think that makes perfect sense because if you have a PlayStation 4 and Xbox and you need to transfer a save, you're able to do that because it's going from a home console to another home console. But when you have the Switch, you're taking the console with you. You take it with you. It's a portable, so there's really no need to move your save to another Switch console because the Switch is the portable itself. So to me, that actually makes sense. It does.
Come on, man.
Really? That's the comeback, Brian. Really? Come on, man. What are your thoughts?
I mean, a lot of consoles, I buy multiple consoles, right? I mean, I understand that I'm in a privileged position, and not everybody can afford to do that. But for me, it's really convenient because I can have one up in the office where I create gaming content, and then I can have one down in the living room where I just, I feed up, chill out in the couch, and just play for, enjoyment's sake. If I'm playing Zelda, it'd be really nice if I could just grab a stick a memory stick with the save on it and bring it downstairs. Because God forbid they have like a cloud save option, which is just utterly fucking ridiculous.
That's way too hard for Nintendo to figure out. Yeah, they can't.
It is true. With the Switch, I have the unique privilege of just putting a dock down there, and I could just pick it up and bring the whole console with me.
But still, like, I don't know.
It'd be nice if you could just switch. I understand they don't want you bringing games over from console to console, but it'd be nice if you could do saves.
Yeah.
I wonder if that'll be an option though to buy like an additional dock, like if you got multiple TVs and maybe
it's $90.
Fuck that. Nintendo,
$90.
Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Someone took the dock apart, and there's like one little tiny motherboard like in the bottom corner, and everything else is just empty.
We're gonna charge $90 for it.
It's a
though,
breakout
for
board.
Nintendo.
Basically, all the video and audio comes out of that USB-C port on the bottom of the Switch, and goes to a little breakout box that switches. That breaks out the HDMI.
Yeah, well, it's not. I don't think it's worth $90. It's kind of insane.
Not even close. It's
Wait,
worth like $30.
Has a really good point. What happens when you break your Switch?
I don't know. What happens when your kid breaks your Switch? That's when you go. That's when you send them out to the yard. That's when you send them out to the yard to get a Switch.
And you lose 200 hours of Zelda.
Oh God. Ooh. You know what? I think it's a good idea that Nintendo called it a Switch because if your children break it, then you can send them out to the yard to get another one. You remember that, Brian?
There should totally. Yeah, I do. Unfortunately, remember.
I remember. Yeah. Go get a big one. You bring me a small one. I'm going to pick it up myself.
I was talking to my kid the other day. I'm like, back in my day, it was easier to discipline a kid. We just got beat.
Hey, it makes sense.
And he just looked at me and laughed. I'm like, wasn't funny.
You got that shit right. It sure wasn't.
Wasn't funny.
Back in my day, you get your ass whooped by a relative that you hardly knew. I did.
Yeah.
Miss Durkin.
I heard
Miss
that.
Durkin.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
you heard. I feel so old, Robbie. Yeah, we turned out okay, Robbie. Miss Durkin. She had a honeycomb hair.
You motherfuckers, though, we'll see.
Yeah, we got. You know what? The jury's still out for your generation, Robbie.
Out.
Yeah.
We're undecided. Yeah.
When I was a kid, you go to family events and then you get your ass whooped by a relative you rarely knew. You hardly knew him. Yeah. Like, are you my cousin? What? Ow! You were trying to
third cousin, just getting the belt.
Nowadays they just send you a tweet and tell you you're bad.
DJ Man's back in my day. Back in my day.
You got that right, DJ. Back in my day. That's what happens, man.
You guys actually got belted as kids? Like I didn't.
Are you joking? You serious? You seriously asking that?
Because I didn't. I don't know. It's a weird thing. I've never grown up with that.
You got to keep in mind, Canada customs are kind of different. You guys, I heard you guys get whooped with candy, cotton candy. Like they grab like a whole thing of cotton.
No. It's frozen maple syrup. Actually, it's just frozen into a stick.
Listen, man, we got.
My dad would use his hand, but my mother would use a fucking wooden spoon.
Oh, the big one on the wall.
Oh man, that fucking hurt.
Robbie,
I think I got slapped with a spoon a couple times. Actually, you're right.
Yeah?
I think I did. Yeah.
Listen, guys, my mom and dad had it was a giant wooden spoon and a fork, and it was on our wall, and it was like decorative. And my dad broke the spoon on me, and I was probably 8 years old.
Your dad was using a wooden spoon?
My dad used the fucking wooden spoon. It sure did. It gets to a point where you don't feel the pain; you're just still shocked.
You can check this out. Not only was my dad whooping my ass, but he was literally working for the National Child Abuse Prevention Foundation. Like that's how acceptable it was. Like your kid got out of shape, you throw him a whooping. That's how parenting worked.
Give him an ass whooping.
And look, Briar, it worked out pretty good. I think we're all pretty upstanding citizens. I can only imagine what the call to your dad must have been like. Listen, I'm really getting fucking tired of Timmy. I beat him with a racetrack, and Briar's dad says, "Listen, don't hit him with the racetrack. Just use your hand. If you really get upset, grab the spoon on the wall." Shit. But that was old school discipline. And to be totally honest, that's how my children are disciplined. You
just take away a kid's phone. That's how you discipline them. I don't know if it's the same.
Discipline them anymore. It's impossible.
Yeah, it's not the same. You're totally right, though. It's not the same.
It's.
You know what? Just call me. I live in a little circle of my own life. I definitely do. Continuing on, the Nintendo Switch is currently the fastest selling console ever for Nintendo, currently outpacing the Wii's first week on the market. Shit.
So this is take this with a grain of salt because you
Yeah,
got to remember how
Week one,
the Wii
that's it.
was so constrained at launch. Like there's so much about the Wii that was hard to produce for Nintendo. So if you remember, it was like a good year before the Nintendo Wii was like available on store shelves, right?
Yeah.
Everybody wanted it too.
So the Switch is very popular, and that's a great sign for Nintendo. But comparing it to the Wii, yeah, it sold faster than the Wii because you couldn't find a fucking Wii because Nintendo literally could not make them fast enough. Those gyroscopes and motion controllers were incredibly hard to find. Remember, you couldn't even if you found a Wii, you wanted to go find motion controllers, you couldn't find those.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that they did something really similar with the Switch still, Briar. I think that the Switch is also incredibly hard to find. It's not like they're everywhere out there in the market. I got really lucky. My wife called me at Walmart and said, hey, there's a guy just looking at a Switch right here. You want it? And I ended up getting that, and it was just pure luck because I wasn't able to.
I want it.
Yeah.
You know
What woman asked a man that anyway? We always
You
want
haven't
it.
played any of it, I know.
I always
but,
want it. Yeah.
I gotta tell you, I'm incredibly happy that I ended up. I was really considering canceling my pre-order and getting Zelda for the Wii U because we have a Wii U in the house.
So,
But I can honestly say I am very happy with the hardware. I know we're gonna get to hardware. We are gonna get to hardware problems, right? We have a story later.
We do. Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about that a little later, and a lot of that is to be expected when you're an early adopter. Early adopters get like. You might as well bend over, right? It's coming. It's coming in hot.
Bend over and take it, son.
Because, early adopters, you pay more and you get inferior hardware. That's just the way
Absolutely.
Always has been. Always
Yeah.
will be.
But I can say that I really do like being able to just grab that thing and play a little Zelda in bed. Play a little Zelda, just bring it downstairs while I'm watching
it's the
TV,
dream.
Play a little
It's the
Zelda.
dream.
Go outside while I'm letting the dogs out. I like to be out there with the dogs. It's fucking really
some
cold
Zelda.
right now, but play a little
Oh,
Zelda,
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
I can't wait for more games to come out for this thing. I'm definitely going to pick up Blaster Master. There's actually 3 games I'm really interested at launch right now. Blaster
Yeah, I
Master
heard about that.
is
yeah.
out there, and the Shovel Knight prequel I've heard is fantastic.
Is that out?
That's out, yeah.
Oh, that's something that I'd be interested in as well. I actually sold my brother's wife, my sister-in-law, the idea of buying a Switch ASAP last night at my birthday party. They saw it sitting in front of my TV. I keep it in the living room because it's pointless to keep it in here because I'll never put Nintendo content on my YouTube channel. I don't like getting content ID strikes.
No one will.
But she was like, what is that? And I told her it's Nintendo's new console, and I took it off the dock and I turned it on. And she was like, oh, that's pretty cool. It looks like the Wii U. The Wii U controller. I said, yeah, but you can take the controllers off. And she's like, why would you take the controllers off? And I pulled out the little stand. I set it in front of the TV. She's like, yeah, but it's so far away. I said, but it's kind of the idea. You can be at work and be at your desk and play it. She's like, so this is a cool little portable. I said, yeah, but it's not just a portable. I took the controllers, the Joy-Cons, put them back on, set it in the dock, and then it popped up on the TV, and her eyes just lit up. She said, I want this.
Yeah,
I want
it's
this.
a brilliant idea.
She's like, this is
Concept
incredible.
alone is what sells it. It's
And when they saw how seamless it was, it goes straight to TV, right back to the portable, the portable version. They were just really sold on. They were like, this is something new, revolutionary. And I think that's the dream we've been waiting on for a long time.
Is Nintendo the only one who could have done it though? Because
No.
Can you imagine Sony doing this?
Sony had the idea. They had the idea in 2015. Something very similar, extremely similar by looking at their patents. The image looked very similar to the Nintendo Switch. Who knows if the controllers actually came off, if it was able to go from a portable to a docked
Are you
version.
talking about the Vita, or is it something
It was a successor to the Vita that Sony they
never did it?
Yeah, well, we don't know if they're actually going to.
Yeah, we still don't actually know if that's real or not.
They
It was just a
released
patent.
They released a patent, and it looks very. And this is 2015, Briar. It looked very similar to the Nintendo
Could you see
Switch.
Sony doing that?
I could. I think Sony still has.
I don't see Sony touching the handheld market with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, I
Well-
don't know. That's hard.
Well, look, if history's any indication, one failure doesn't mean you don't try again. Look, the Wii U was
2
a failure.
failures though.
Yeah, but I don't think they had two. There's 80 million.
PSP.
80 million PSPs were sold, Briar. That's a success, no matter how you look. Whether people
Yeah.
bought it to
Was
mod
it
or
a
not.
success? No, that's bullshit. You can't say that's a success no matter how you look at it because it's not a success no matter how you look at it. Yeah, they sold a lot of hardware, but they didn't sell any fucking games because you could pirate every fucking game for it.
True.
Well,
So there was no fucking developer support for it because they knew that if they put a game out for PSP, then it would just get pirated and nobody would buy it anyway. So yeah, they sold a lot of hardware.
It's a cup half full, half empty type of situation because they could have ended up selling 20 million.
And then they came out with the Vita, and that thing I think has been an abject failure, right? Like
it's 22 million units.
It's dead. Yeah.
I mean, it sucks because I think that hardware was really cool, especially the second generation that they made. But there's not a lot of compelling software for it.
But it's the same situation with the Wii U, though, Brian. What you're saying right here is the exact same situation with the Wii U. The Wii U, it sold abysmally. It was just a very poor selling console, and didn't sell a ton of games either, even though they got great Nintendo exclusives. But look when Nintendo came out with a successor, and it's doing really well. I mean, just because
it's a completely different thing.
It's so early, though. You can't say it's really going to do well. The Switch is so in question still.
That is very true. But what I'm asking, the original question was, can you imagine another company making a similar product to the Switch? And I can't. I can't see Microsoft doing it because
they wouldn't. No.
Microsoft,
they have no history in that field at all. They go in blind.
And I can't see Sony doing it because,
unless it was a
successor to the Vita, like the PSP Vita line, which I just don't think that they have any interest in doing it. Like, not in their financial position right now because, Sony is not in good shape, right? The Sony PlayStation division is in great shape.
Yeah.
But they're carrying that entire fucking corporation.
They absolutely are.
And so any mistake they fucking make could sink the whole ship.
It costs them quite a lot. Yeah.
So, betting on a PSP2 or a Switch-like device, imagine if it had the power of a PlayStation 4. That would be amazing. But how much would that thing cost? And would they be able to sell it?
Well, look, if you look at the history, Sony has been moving in that direction for years. The PSP, you're actually able to buy a peripheral that you could plug into the bottom of the PSP and play it on your television. They wanted to make the PSP kind of.
Yeah, I had that. That thing sucked.
But I'm telling you what the direction Sony was going in.
Yeah.
They wanted you to be able to have a portable and still put it on the big screen. Same thing with the PlayStation Vita. PlayStation Vita never had a peripheral, but they did make the Vita.
That, right?
They had the Vita TV, which is something that allowed you to play Vita games on a TV. Yeah, I have it too, and it does. But this is the direction that Sony's been going in, and there's been some missteps, but Sony, they make the best choices and sometimes the worst choices in their video game division. And I don't think they're going to give up on the handheld division. I think that they're going to try one more time. I honestly believe, and I hope they do, because they've made incredible hardware. The Vita is one of the most powerful little handhelds I've ever seen. And when it came out, I thought it was going to shake up the world, but it just wasn't supported. If they were able to try one more time, get meaningful developers behind it, and maybe have this cross-platform ability that the Nintendo Switch has, I think it could be incredible. And I mean, I think it's a very real possibility that they will go in that direction. You guys let us know. You guys let us know in the comment. Open up the comments and let us know what you guys.
They're talking about it in chat. And
yeah, I'm looking right now. What do you guys think? Do you think it's possible that Sony could come out with something like that? I don't think Microsoft doesn't have enough meaningful franchises, but Sony definitely does. They could move a lot of units.
I'm going to say maybe with a Vita 2. I don't know if it's likely, though, because I think the people that bought it, people love it. There's no doubt. People really like the Vita that have it. And, I mean, I bought it from day one. And I'll tell you guys, I thought the first year or two was really good. They actually had games consistently coming out. After that, there was nothing. It just dropped. There was no games at all, and I sold mine just last year because I'm like, this thing's dead. It's just, there's nothing interesting to play on it that I can't either play on PS4 or just nothing really motivating. So it's,
you're right. Yeah. Very few Vita games have I played that just blew my socks off.
First year was really good, but after that, it's like no.
No, launch was pretty decent. After that,
yeah, really good.
You got a decent game. Killzone Mercenary was okay, but I mean, you can really count on one or two hands all the good PlayStation Vita games, other than indies. Yeah, there's plenty of meaningful indies that people enjoy, but I'm talking, first party.
At this point, my portable gaming is going to be either
it's going to be the
on
Switch.
The Switch or on an iPhone.
I can't play games on my phone. I just can't do it.
Well,
the phone.
You've never been truly addicted to an iPhone game, my friend.
Yeah,
they're out there.
They're there. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see. Time will tell what'll happen. I'm never going to bet against PlayStation. I think PlayStation is an incredible company, and we got some more PlayStation news at the bottom of the show.
Yeah, let's move on with the news. What's next?
Where are we at, Robbie?
You guys want to stick with the Switch, or you want me to move on to something different?
Yeah,
Move to the next story.
Well,
Okay.
wasn't there specific news about the Switch?
Top selling. Nintendo has responded to reports of the ongoing issues people are experiencing with the Nintendo Switch, including the Joy-Con connectivity issue and the Switch dock leaving scratches on the system screen. Reggie Fils-Aimé says the feedback is really helping the company to combat the issue and also ask for continued feedback.
Yeah.
If your shit gets scratched up, is Sony going to? Is Nintendo going to replace it?
I don't think so. Why?
That's what they need to do.
They've just said they're pretty much not going to.
Shit.
They did say that, basically.
So
they're not going to replace
I've seen a couple of really good ideas. Obviously, you could buy screen protectors. When I first saw the design of this thing, I'm like,
the dock should not scratch it. Like, that's stupid. Come on.
Well, anytime you drag something across a plastic screen, you got to expect it to scratch, right? When I first saw the design of this thing, when I first saw the design of this thing, my first thought was like, isn't that going to scratch the screen like every time you dock it? So I figured, they must have like a felt pad or something.
That's what I thought too. Like they wouldn't let that happen.
There is one, but it's like way down at the bottom. So I've already got a screen protector on order. It hasn't arrived yet, but it's like I don't want to fuck with the thing at all until I get that screen protector on, because it drives me crazy to have a scratch screen, real crazy. Although once they're lit up, you can hardly see them anyway. Everybody's had a scratch on their
and the
screen,
only way that we can charge these things is by putting it in the dock. Correct? They don't have like an extra cord.
You can plug a USB-C into it.
Okay, sweet.
But yeah, I mean, you want it docked. If you want to play on your TV or whatever, you're gonna be taking this thing in and out theoretically. Mine stayed mostly in, but that's mainly because I've been playing Horizon. I haven't been able to concentrate on Zelda like I want to. But yeah, that's bullshit. How could they not have put like a piece of felt in there just to like protect the screen?
I mean, wouldn't QA go through this over and over again to see? Think.
And also, like a plastic screen in 2017?
That was a dumb idea. They shouldn't have done that.
Like, what the fuck? Make that out of like Gorilla Glass or whatever.
Honestly, this is the very first time I'm hearing that it's plastic, and that's hugely disappointing.
There's some really strange design decisions about the Switch. Yeah, plastic screen. The left Joy-Con doesn't have an antenna. That's why the connectivity issues have been happening, which it's not a hard fix.
I wouldn't be surprised if for that issue we see a hardware recall. Or Nintendo
there's rumors
sending out.
Yep.
Because it seems like they did a software update, I believe, already, right? And it didn't fix it.
There's a lot of talk going around. They're going to recall the left Joy-Con altogether and make it.
Wow, that's really, really bad for Nintendo. Let me ask you guys a question. Well, Briar, I can ask you, Robbie, not so much. Have you been to the Nintendo eShop on the Nintendo Switch? I went to it, I think, the day that I opened mine up, when I did my unboxing. There was literally nothing there.
There's more there already. Here, I actually have my Switch up because I was playing Zelda right before. But there's more stuff up. They've got some stuff that's really not that interesting to me, but other people it might find interesting.
Yep.
But they've got a few Neo Geo games. I think this is Nam 1975, King of Fighters 98, Waku Waku 7, Shock Troopers, World Heroes Perfect, Metal Slug 3. Blaster Master came out. That was previously only available in Japan. Boaz, I've never heard of. And then all the stuff that was there at launch. So already there's stuff that's come out.
Now, and I think you mentioned this last week, the things that you've bought through Nintendo's online infrastructure in the past do not translate over to the Switch, at least at this point, correct?
Not at this point, and that's really disappointing if you've got virtual console games. That virtual console, if you buy something on virtual console, that should definitely transfer over from console to console.
Yeah.
Right, because it's just a software emulation thing, and that's just bad value. That's just Nintendo being assholes. So if you've bought if you bought Super Mario 3 on your Wii U, and you bought Castlevania on your DS, like all that shit should transfer over, like 100%. And even then, even if they do that, it's confusing because like how many Nintendo IDs do you have at this point? Like 7? Like I don't even know what the fuck is like I had to sign up for a new one just to start the Switch. I'm like, oh, and then I linked another one. I'm like,
what happened to the old one? Yeah.
I don't even know, man. I have a book, like a hard book, a notebook that I write down passwords for shit in. and that I keep in a safe because, like, you just never know, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have literally 7 different Nintendo like usernames and passwords. They're all different. Like they're all different
insane.
things. And I don't know, like, are some of these duplicates because I signed up on different devices? Or are they just different like accounts altogether? I don't know.
I don't know why Nintendo makes it so goddamn hard. I mean,
They're
you gotta
terrible
go
at it.
10 steps to fucking send someone a friend request. I mean, nobody wants to put in a 17-digit code to add a friend.
Friend codes are back. What the?
Yeah.
It's like, really?
Out of after all the negative publicity that.
Come on, though. Like, in all honesty, are we going to be playing any multiplayer games on here?
Yeah, absolutely. And we won't be talking. We'll just have to use our phones to call each other.
Even if I had a Switch, like when that paid service comes out, I wouldn't buy that because why would you play multiplayer games on a Nintendo console? Like, there's gonna be like 2 of them.
The 2 things I can think of exceptions are Smash Brothers and
Splatoon.
Splatoon.
Yeah, maybe Mario Kart. Everything else, it's like that's it. Like, there's not
Did people
that
play
much.
Mario Kart online? I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
online. Yeah.
Yeah?
It
I
worked
mean-
really well, too.
Even my kids play that couch co-op.
Exactly, though. You can just play a co-op. Like,
Well, this is good news for the Switch because there's nothing that you can do as far as streaming, no YouTube, no anything. Streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon will come to the Nintendo Switch in time, says Nintendo President and COO Reggie Fils-Aimé. Which, one day.
who knows how long it's gonna take, though.
15-year-old
I'm sorry. Can
technology.
you repeat that one? Because I was reading comments. I was reading Wilson's comment down there.
Streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon will come to the Nintendo Switch in time, says President and CEO of Nintendo of America, Reggie Fils-Aimé.
Well, that's great news.
Yeah, I mean, it's only, super old technology that everybody has on their phones that somehow they couldn't pack in on a console that costs $300.
Yeah, but they rushed this thing out, right? Can we all agree on that? They rushed this thing out.
100%. They rushed it.
Yeah,
So they didn't have time.
The website wasn't even up. It was rushed.
But this is the kind of thing that adds value in the long run, right? Like
Yeah,
if we get
absolutely.
Hulu, Netflix, Amazon, like all the streaming services that show up, that's great. That just makes the Switch even more useful. And the fact that it's got Wi-Fi, if I'm on a plane, maybe I get a little bored with playing my video game, I can watch a movie on there. Hey, that's awesome. That's just extra functionality. Maybe because I got a Switch, I'm gonna leave my iPad at home because my Switch does everything I wanted my iPad to do, plus it plays Nintendo games.
yeah.
That's literally. I'd love to see an internet browser on this thing.
Let me ask you a question, Briar and Robbie. When do you think would have been the right time to release the Nintendo Switch? When do you think they would have had everything ready and possibly more games? How much time do you think they really needed? Holiday 2017.
Yeah, I
Makes
wish
so
they had
much
waited.
sense.
Honestly, I really do wish they had waited.
I mean,
Same.
yeah.
I don't even own it. I wish they waited.
It's such a double-edged sword, right? Because The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, one of the greatest games, right? Definitely contender for Game of the Year, just based on what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
And that's literally like the only game that people are playing on the Switch.
How much better could it have been too if they had an extra 6 months, right? If they had an extra 6 months to figure out what the frame rate issue is, maybe do a little more work on the inventory management stuff. Like if they had 6 more months to work on that game, imagine how much better it would be.
Yeah.
I haven't played it yet. From all I'm hearing, it's already great, but I can't wait to see it.
It is great, but no game is perfect,
No, absolutely not. Even a game that has a 10, it doesn't mean it's perfect. It means it's something special.
It's all subjective anyway. Our last little bit of news, our last story of episode 146 of Beastly Thoughts is something we talked about in the past. And of course, in the past, the Beastly Gamer is always looked at as the loon. A new report. Look at Brian. That's awesome.
Our last piece of news, and we haven't talked about Destiny yet?
Hold on. Did we skip
That's
it?
not our last piece of news, no.
All right.
I don't see it.
All right.
We
I was
skipped
going to
something.
say, man.
Okay. I don't see it. Oh, shit.
Motherfucking heart attack up in here.
I felt like this is one of those 3D Blu-rays, Brian. I thought you were going to come through the damn 4K screen. A news report this week from an industry analyst says that the PlayStation 5 will be released in the second half of 2018 and will have 10 teraflops of power.
10 teraflops. Compare that to a GTX 1080 for me.
Well, it's a console, Brian. It's like comparing a bike to a car.
So you're not going to do it. That's what you're saying.
No, absolutely not. Well, the thing is, this is what I said, and I still believe I'm right. Robbie and I, we talked about this earlier in the week. PlayStation is definitely going to do this. They might not actually hit that release date, but before the end of the year, And also, before the Xbox Scorpio comes out, they're going to reveal that this is something that they're working on, and they're shooting for a 2018.
Oh god, I don't know about that.
They will.
That'd be cool if they did, but
they have to. They have to. And
So
the reason
GTX Titan X has 11 teraflops.
So it's going to be pretty damn powerful.
It'll be close to higher end.
Yeah, jeez.
It'll be close to high-end PCs right now, if that rumor is to be believed.
A year from now, and a lot of people won't have that type of power on their PC next year. Those graphics cards cost a shit ton of money.
Yeah, well, they just came out with the.
And it's 600.
Came out with the 1080 Ti.
Yeah, it's like $600.
Yeah, well, the 1080 was $600 till they came out with 1080 Ti. Now you can buy a 1080 for $500, right? Is it $500 or $400?
Not sure. I think it's $500.
I'm not sure either. I think it's $500. Yeah. So
let's be real here. Do you guys think there's a possibility that Sony could preemptively, just kind of the same way they did with Final Fantasy VII Remake, just to win, throw something out there before the Scorpion launches to let people know, let PlayStation fans know that this is not going to be iterative change. This is not going to be a PlayStation 4 Pro. This is not going to be a boost mode. This is going to be the PlayStation 5. It's going to have all new games made by developers you know and love, and it's going to come out next year just to stop those people who are the undecided voter, the undecided gamer.
It's too soon. I don't know.
It's not true, Robbie. PS4 came out in 2013. Why do people keep saying that? Everybody complained about how long the 7th generation was.
Yeah, everybody did complain. And the reason people are saying it's too soon is because the Pro just came out last year.
Yeah, the Pro. That's what's.
But the Pro was only prolonging the console that still came out in 2013. It's like if the Super Nintendo only played regular Nintendo games, it's still a Nintendo. It just makes them look better. And that's what the PlayStation 4 Pro is. It's just a PS4 that makes the games look and run a little bit better. That's it. It's still a PS4. It's not a new console.
Right.
And so Sony.
I'd be disappointed if PlayStation 5 is a brand new console. I'd be disappointed if it didn't play PlayStation 4 games.
I think at this point it'd have to. With the initiative that Microsoft is taking to make backwards compatibility kind of the forefront of the Xbox One, every day you're reading stories about these 3 new games for Xbox backwards compatibility. I think that Sony will definitely lose if they decide not to.
It's so easy to do with the new architecture. Now that they're
using x86,
it would be straightforward. It would.
That's cool. I mean,
Narcus said he read something saying that they're not really worried about the Scorpio. I bet you they are. No one's going.
They're planning on coming out with the PlayStation 5 in 2018. If that's real, if that's their actual plan, then I wouldn't be worried about the Scorpio either.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing,
but
though. That might be the reason they're not worried about it.
If that's true, I would announce it at E3. In similar fashion that the Scorpio was announced at last year's E3, expected in 2017, just a little teaser, because the same fucking water that Xbox threw on the PlayStation Pro, they now have the opportunity to throw on the Scorpio.
To do the same, yeah.
This would be nuts. I mean, I'm hearing a speculation and rumors that Xbox is actually going to do a little bit more of a reveal of the Scorpio before E3. If Sony were to do that, and you're right, Brian, they don't have to do a lot of talking and have 25 developers talking about the power.
Just say
of
it's coming. Like that's basically
all they gotta
do.
Is say just have just a break that says PS5, 10 teraflops, 2018,
the best pixels ever.
The most powerful.
They can't say the most powerful console because their competition already is saying that.
Yeah, but
so they have to come up with something new.
That won't be true anymore, Robbie. It wouldn't be true anymore. At some point in time, Nintendo was the most powerful console. So if the Xbox One's the most powerful console, it's true.
The difference between what Xbox is doing with the Scorpio and what Sony did with the Pro is that the Pro was a much smaller leap in power.
Absolutely.
The Scorpio is a huge leap. Like it's a lot more power, man, in that thing.
Way more.
It feels like a generational leap.
Let me say this, okay? And this is my thoughts on it.
They could put Xbox 2 on there, and I don't think anybody would bat an eye.
Yeah, I think you're right. Honestly, I do. And to me, that'd be a better idea. This is the issue that I'm seeing, though, with Microsoft and with the Xbox Scorpio. Power is the only thing they're touting. For the most part, Microsoft's games have been lacking. With their first party, their exclusives have been lacking. We're not seeing any games like Neo. We're not seeing any games like Horizon. The Halo series has kind of dropped off the map. It's not nearly as sought after as it used to be.
Halo 5 is still very strong. It's a very good game, and it's got a very strong following.
Okay, but
Gears of War came out last year. That was very successful.
Yeah.
There is some Xbox exclusivity still. It's shared between the PC. There's still some Microsoft's exclusivity that is still very good. It's not. Yes, they don't have the number of titles and the frequency of these things as Sony does right now, but there are some out there.
Yeah, I mean, there are games out there that are still going to sell well. If you ask me, the Halo series is not as sought after as it once was. It's not the pinnacle. It's not, there are other games out there that compete with Halo, and some of them outsell Halo. There was a time where that just didn't happen. Same with the Gears of War series. When Gears of War came out on the Xbox 360, it basically destroyed everything out there, and it's not the same anymore. The issue with me and the Xbox Scorpio is all Microsoft is touting right now is power. They're not touting what they need to be touting. And that's, we've got meaningful developers crafting incredible experiences for you right now. And that's what we need to see. I talked to my brother about this yesterday. One of the greatest games I played on the Xbox One was Ori and the Blind Forest. It was meaningful. I love that world. I love the characters, love the gameplay. But very seldom do you have that kind of...
So I hate this argument, Beastly, because I hate fucking console exclusives.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
I hate this because, yeah, you're right that Sony has better console exclusives than Microsoft does. But I fucking hate it because it's just exclusionary. It's like it excludes gamers from playing awesome games, and I fucking hate it. It happens in games, it happens for games, it happens between consoles, it happens between PC and console. It's just awful. What I want is, no matter what console you buy, the games you want are available for that console. More like third-party stuff, like Call of Duty or Destiny. That kind of stuff it's so much preferable in my mind because it doesn't matter what hardware you bought. It doesn't matter which fucking huge corporation you gave your money to buy this piece of hardware. You still get to be a gamer. You still get the experiences you enjoy.
But
Sony, when they put all this money into these developers to say just develop for Sony, it's exclusionary. Yeah, I mean it's good for Sony and it's good for Sony fanboys because it gets there's more exclusives available for the Sony platform, but it's not good for gamers. It's not good for PC gamers. It's not good for PC gaming. They don't want to buy a fucking $400 console that is clearly inferior to the $2,000 box they already have. It's bad for Xbox gamers. It's bad for the industry. It's bad for gamers.
I have a counter argument to that, and to me, it's always been this way. I think it should be this way, and there's a reason why. If you go out right now and you buy a Lamborghini and you get into that car, you're gonna have a different experience driving that car than you would if you bought a Kia.
Yeah, but that's the hardware. You still buy the same fucking gas at Shell.
Yeah, but you're also going to have little perks and things that are made by that company that go along with that car.
Right, that's what the hardware should be. That in my dream world, there's one platform and a bunch of Sony and Microsoft and Panasonic and whoever make make consoles that are competitive on price and in power, but the software runs like it would on a PC. No matter what console you bought, you'd get any software you want, and they'd be competing on, the value of the hardware itself.
Yeah, but it's a competitive marketplace, and that's what it is. These companies don't build these, multi-billion-dollar industries just so they can sit across the table from the competition and say, hey, it's an even playing field. You're going to do things that make your platform...
I understand that capitalism is a thing, and I understand that corporations don't have my best interests at heart.
Absolutely.
Right? What I'm saying is that I'm not going to fucking put my nuts on the line because, Sony has better first-party lineups. That doesn't help me. That's not a good thing for me. It's certainly not a good thing for a guy who bought an Xbox because all his friends play Xbox. It sucks for him. It's a bad thing. It's a bad thing for gamers, all this exclusivity. And to tout it as it's a great thing, I think it's devious.
I love it. Just call me. It's my birthday, bro. Give me a fucking break.
All right.
I'll say exclusive games don't bother me nearly as much as exclusive content. For a multi-platform game that's on everything, it's like with Destiny. That is frustrating.
Yeah. I dealt with that with Call of Duty for years. Xbox had the exclusivity.
I hate the shit out of that.
A month early. If you wanted the content a month earlier, you had to play on Xbox. Doesn't matter if you like the PS3 controller better. Doesn't matter if the PS3 was more powerful hardware. The Xbox 360, got the content faster, and that meant it sold more on Xbox 360, which meant it was the lead platform on Xbox 360, which meant the PS3 version, which technically had better hardware, was a worse version of that game, which fucking sucked for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great point. But I mean, for me, it goes a little bit deeper than that. I see certain developers who have been working with companies that have had their back, and they've built bonds, and they've worked together for many, many years, and they're just working together to make better products for a particular brand. And I don't think that necessarily hurts people the way that you feel like it does. I think that people know by now, if there's something that you want in the world and you can only get it in one particular place, that you need to go there to get it. There's drinks that you can only get at Starbucks. You can't go to every other coffee shop and get, because Starbucks makes them, and you go to Starbucks to get them. And I think it's the same thing with video games. If there's certain games that you like, if you like God of War, you're not going to get it on the Xbox. It's something so you're going to go buy a PlayStation to play it. That's all I'm saying. To me, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, to me,
it makes
it's
sense
like,
on a business perspective. It sucks when you're a gamer and you are forced to make purchasing decisions like this. It just sucks.
I mean, that does suck. I mean, and see, the thing is, I have a clouded judgment, Briar. You know that, and I'm happy that you're able to kind of see through that, because you have all the consoles, I have all the consoles. That kind of decision making isn't something that I have to do. So it's like I never have to say, God damn it, it's only coming to the Xbox. Now I got to go buy an Xbox. I already own everything. Yeah. So a lot of those hard choices that a lot of gamers are forced to make, I don't feel necessarily, because as soon as a console comes out, I usually buy it. And for those people, it does suck. But that's just the way it's been, and that's the way it's always going to be.
Look, I want PlayStation as a brand, and I want Xbox as a brand, and frankly, I want Nintendo as a brand to be as successful as possible, because that is good for the industry, right?
Competition.
If one of these companies fucking ran away with it, like, let's say Microsoft just said, fuck it, we're done with this shit. It's just been a fucking one headache after another. We're getting out of this console business. It's fucking ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden it was just Sony and Nintendo.
And Sony would kick their ass.
The Switch, it didn't work out the way we wanted to. It sold really well, but
we're gonna back out of this.
We're bankrupt. Oh. Maybe we're gonna start making some cell phone games, but we're going bankrupt. And all of a sudden, it was one fucking company that ran everything. As gamers, that would be awful. It would be awful.
It would be Orwellian.
You could absolutely guarantee they would stop giving any money to developers, right? Because there would be no reason for them to do console
PlayStation
exclusives.
Plus wouldn't exist anymore. You wouldn't get
any
free
kind
stuff.
of good deal wouldn't exist. Games would cost more. The consoles would cost more. The best thing we could possibly hope for is for all three of these companies, and the PC and Steam and good old games and IO and all of these things, to be as successful as possible, so that they have competition, so that no one motherfucker can just take all our money and run.
This is why I love you, Briar. Thank you. Oh man, that's so right. 100%.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree with you there.
As much as we don't like console exclusives, let's be real, that's what keeps these companies competitive with each other. Without exclusives, there'd be no reason to have multiple different brands.
Imagine it worked more like the PC, where you, instead of competing because we have different software, we competed because we made the better hardware. How much better would that be as a console gamer? If Microsoft and Sony, instead of competing, Sony's saying, we have this awesome game and this awesome game, which you can't get over there. And Xbox is saying, we have this awesome game and this awesome game, which you can't get over there. Imagine they had to compete on, we made awesome hardware and it's better than their hardware. Or no, our hardware is better than their hardware. Like, how much better would it be for us gamers if that were the case?
Well, I think both is happening. I think that they're both, kind of streamlined with one another. They are doing that. But capitalism also exists. So they're still competing on a hardware level. Our system is better. We're making one that's going to be better at the end of the year. So that's exciting. But there's also little perks like exclusives. And
that's
for
not
me,
a perk. It's not a perk.
For me, I see it as one.
Yeah, they try to dress it like a perk, but it's really not. Like, think about it. It's not. They pay to have that, but it's not really a perk. They're just trying to convince you to buy their product. It's not really a perk.
Well, I mean, if an exclusive didn't exist, it just wouldn't exist. It's another option to me. And of course, not every exclusive is a great game, but having that option, what if Neo didn't exist? and people weren't able to play it?
What
if
if
it came
Neo
out?
was on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox?
I think it'd be
Nintendo.
great.
Cool.
I think it would be great, but it's on the console that made the most sense for the developer and the company that published it. Sometimes it's not made to benefit the competition. Sometimes it's made to benefit you. I mean, and that goes from small business to big business. Your company across the street from the competition. You're going to try to do things that bring people into your business, and that's just the way of the world. That's the way people work. And just because it's on a multinational level doesn't change the fact that you're going to try to do things to attract consumers to your side. If you got a popsicle stand across the street from someone else's, you're going to try to get exclusive flavors. And for everybody to say those exclusive flavors shouldn't exist and everybody should have them,
I love this.
It's insanity. I think that you should totally be allowed to
Popsicle
do whatever
exclusives.
it takes.
What the fuck
the
is
next
an
big
exclusive flavor on Popsicle?
Mango Dreams.
It's like
Mango Dream. And
Can you
it's
imagine you have two ice cream shops though, and it's like one ice cream shop buys the exclusivity to like a certain flavor, like you can only get this flavor, mango, whatever.
Cold Stone though, that shit
and
is
they own
fucking
it,
good.
so the other person can't. Yeah,
Baskin Robbins, 31 flavors, motherfuckers.
yeah, and no one else in the world can have those flavors. Like it's just them.
I don't know.
That would be really
I think this
crazy.
analogy is really a stretch because where's the hardware comparison compared to the software comparison? I think
This
we're
isn't a
really
stretch.
losing
We're
it.
just having
Yeah,
fun
we're
with
getting
this.
out there
No.
now.
This is just fun.
I wanna
I think
take
we
a
should end
second
this
to
conversation.
recognize-
I think it's an interesting conversation to have, but I think we've spent about 15 to 20 minutes on it, and I think we should just move on to the next two.
Absolutely, we should. But before we
Totally,
do, I want to recognize a great comment by Micosta21. It said, "Every exclusive is great. Look at the Order 1886." Moving on, let's talk about this great Destiny news. Robbie, I don't see it in our notes, so maybe you could link to it, or you can just go ahead and explain to everybody what's going on in the
I don't actually
fantastic.
see it, but it's basically about the Age of Triumph update. I believe that's what it is, right? I think I forgot to include it. I'm sorry, Briar.
Briar, he's not
You didn't
thinking
put the
about
Destiny news in?
I might have forgot it. I'm sorry. I didn't see it. I couldn't find the story.
This is
Okay, I
insane.
looked for it. Take it away, though. I'm
All
sorry.
right, Destiny. We got huge Destiny news this week. We got the Age of Triumph reveal stream from Bungie. And basically, what they're doing is they're bringing back everything old and putting it back to the current light level. And they're revamping the way
Old raids,
weeklies
baby.
work. So, Vault of Glass raid is now going to be a current light level raid. Anything you get out of it is going to be current light level. So all the old weapons like Fatebringer, all the old armor, and even some new stuff. So the armor is going to now have ornaments, so you can change the look of your armor. There's going to be sparrows for the new raids. There's going to be ghosts for the old raids. They're also taking a look at the raids themselves, tweaking them to make them a little bit more, playable, or to get rid of some of the cheeses that they've had in the past. But basically, this is the end of Destiny, right? This is like
this is what you've been asking for a long time, too.
the final kiss off to Destiny is everything that you love about Destiny is now going to be current. The raids are the best part about Destiny, right? There's PvP and there's the raids, and the raids are, the best content in Destiny, the best PvE content in Destiny. And now all of it is going to be available, current light level. All those old guns are going to be back, all that old armor, and they're going to add some new stuff as well. So, this is it. We're going into Destiny 2 at the end of the year. This is our farewell. This is our swan song for Destiny. And I think it's brilliant. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, especially in April, May, when they're also doing this Age of Triumph book where there's basically 13 pages of all of the shit you got to do.
There's a lot.
Yeah, the first page is all shit that you can't even do anymore. If you weren't around in year one,
You had to play Destiny when it came out.
Yeah, you had to be there for Vanilla Destiny, The Dark Below, House of Wolves. If
Love
you
that,
weren't,
though.
that stuff's not available. There's going to be exclusive rewards. It's just, there's no new content, but all the old stuff, the best of the old stuff is getting brought back into the game and re-released as, like a farewell nostalgia song.
I think I think it's amazing. That's something you talked about a long time ago on this podcast, was that they needed to, bring the old raids and make them current light level, make them hard, give people a reason to go back and play some of their most fun experiences and make them meaningful. So this is it, huh? This is the final hurrah for Destiny.
This is the final hurrah. And E3, I expect we'll start hearing about Destiny 2.
Destiny 2.
And the summer will be all about Destiny 2. Anything
Now-
Bungie says will be related to Destiny 2.
Now, I don't know the exact date of E3 this year, but just
June
preemptively, have you had your wife pick up those adult diapers for you? Because I'd like to see it live, your reaction, and
They're
I'm
on
sure
my
there's gonna-
Amazon wish list. They just constantly get delivered. You know, every time we
You
do
need
a
'em all
Beastly
the
Thought
time.
show, I gotta go change my diaper. Beastly said what?
I'm sorry, man. I'll order you another pack.
They're
Yeah,
expensive,
they'll be the
man.
adults for you.
They're expensive.
Yeah, yeah.
Adult diapers? How much do they cost?
Yeah, you got to be an adult
A
to wear
lot.
them.
Thanks. Good to know.
So that's really very exciting news for Destiny.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll jump back into it, but I'm very excited about what's going to be happening with Destiny 2.
Yeah, I
think
can't
will.
imagine this is gonna draw too many old players or like lapsed players back. But the players who are still playing, I think will find a lot of enjoyment in this. You know,
It's a nostalgia romp that actually matters.
yeah, getting that year 1 loot in year 3, getting the Vex Mythoclast, getting the Fatebringer, the Vision of Confluence. You know, that really iconic gear from year 1, having that stuff come back, that's appealing. Like if you don't recognize any of those names,
Yeah.
no,
you
you're
can-
probably not too interested in this. You know, you're probably more looking at Destiny 2 or Mass Effect or whatever's coming down the road. But for year 1 players, like the people who've been around for a long time, it's pretty cool.
Now, that was the last little bit of news, but I want to go over this last little quick story. We do it real fast. No Man's Sky is getting a brand new update this week, adding land-based vehicles to the game, a new permadeath mode, PS4 Pro support, as well as additional features to be expanded upon in future updates. I didn't buy
His
this game.
favorite game, No Man's Sky.
Look how Briar's
No
looking. It's like-
controversy at all.
It's reminded Briar he bought it. Look at him.
I actually enjoyed that game. I know that it's not a popular
I did
opinion, but
too.
I had reasonable expectations for that game, and I enjoyed my time with it. And I'm excited to hear it's getting updated. Is this update out now, or is it coming?
It's coming this week. This
Yeah.
week. It says it's going to be updated this week, but it's getting PS4 Pro support, permadeath mode. I'm guessing now everything you do is
That
just
sounds interesting. Permadeath mode.
you go out and you expand the universe and you die and it's over.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's over, right?
There's no way to go
that's
find that
interesting.
backpack.
Getting ground vehicles definitely sounds interesting too. Like as they build and expand upon this game, it gets really interesting. I know it's like the biggest disappointing game of 2016, but
People
if
are way
you,
too excited.
if
We
you
really
knew this
are.
game was a independent game and you went into it with that expectation, you knew that it wasn't going to be like some fucking like mind. It wasn't going to be
Well-
The Witcher 3 or Destiny or
Right.
Mass Effect. It was an
Well,
independent game, and I
think that
actually enjoyed my time with it. I can't wait to see what they have in
it
store.
sounds like it's actually becoming more of what they told us initially it would be, and that's the thing, right? Everybody knew it was made by like a group of 6 people, a very small development house, but they also sold it as something that it wasn't. Brian, they really hyped this game up. They did late night shows talking about all the stuff that you could do, and it ended up not being true. So part of it was just being slightly disingenuous to your consumer, kind of luring them in with the old,
Yeah.
oh, gotcha, okie doke.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
So
also,
it was-
the screenshots of that game in early development did not
Yeah,
end
and
up
then
looking like it looked when it came out. But I mean, we've seen that before. We've
Well, at
seen
least they're
that. Dark
supporting it.
Souls. We've seen that with
Yeah,
a ton
Watch
of fucking games.
Dogs.
Watch
Every-
Dogs.
Yeah, every
The
Ubisoft game.
Division. I mean, we've seen that so many times.
Ubisoft,
Yep.
every game.
No,
But yeah,
Sony's done it a ton too. With what did Guerrilla make before they used to work on Horizon?
Killzone.
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 Yeah,
We've seen it with
they did
Killzone.
PlayStation 2. Yeah,
Yeah, we've seen it with what was that driving game that was out in like Burning Man Festival?
Burning Man Festival. They
What?
It
still
was
do
out in
those.
the desert. It was like an off-road driver. You could use
Motorstorm.
big rigs. Motorstorm.
Motorstorm
did
looked
that.
amazing though. It still looked amazing. I
Look
love
at the
that
early
game.
screenshots.
I'm not a racing guy, but yeah, I mean, it's something that happens. I'm happy that they're still supporting it. I'm happy that they're trying to make some of these situations right. And who knows in the future if it really becomes what they told us it would be, a long time ago. Maybe I'll pick it up. This was a great show. Thank you to everybody out there for watching today. We've gone through lots of news. Episode 146. It's my birthday. It's almost over.
It's my birthday.
It's your birthday.
Robbie, I think it's time. It's time.
What?
Happy
Let's go.
birthday. Happy birthday.
Hey.
I was gonna sing the Chili's Happy Birthday song, but that's all I remember.
Yeah.
Damn.
I don't know it
Chuck,
either.
were
Should
you
we just
when you
sing
listened
regular
to
Happy
that?
Birthday? Should we do it?
Oh, it's
no,
copyright
no.
material. You can't do it.
You damn right.
Is it actually?
Shut up, Robbie.
Well, okay. Rip.
Owned by the
All right.
owned by the state.
Just rip.
Owned by the
Show's
state.
over.
Don't buy the man.
You know what? I'm such a jerk for getting the Destiny news. I might as well just quit the show. Goodbye, everybody.
We love you, Robbie. We'll see you in our next life. Do they have maple syrup
Thanks,
in heaven?
guys.
Oh, okay.
In hell? No, they.
I
wish
said
they had it.
heaven, but at least you got hell on your mind.